Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Get started here in a minute.
All right, Wade, we are live on Zoom and we're live on YouTube.
Perfect. Hey guys, thanks for being here today. I've been on vacation and back last week and excited about what's happening here, the files that we're getting. We're working on some really large files. Those take a little bit of time when it's so big. We're actually also got 1.5 million funding we did months and months and months ago, and now we're looking at a renewal possibility with that one. So there's a lot going on here. What I want to do is I want to share my screen, and then today we're going to talk about. Hold on 1 second here. You can see my screen, right, Morgan?
Yes, yep.
Uh, it's important for us for you guys to understand what a prepayment discount versus a prepayment penalty is. I'm getting a lot of comments and questions that are being sent to me. Uh, we are advances. These are not bank loans. These are advances based on revenue only. I mean, a lot of you guys are asking questions about, well, listen, they've got all these contracts with the government. They got the potential here to make this. They got all this revenue all this equipment that they can put up as collateral. We do not accept collateral. These are revenue-based fundings only. In the context of advances and funding, sometimes people call these merchant cash advances. That term has originated from credit card advances, but they use it pretty much all throughout the industry for talking about any type of funding that is weekly, daily payback. But prepayment discounts and prepayment penalties refer to the different financial implications associated with each repayment of the advance. For example, the definition for prepayment discounts is prepayment discounts or incentives that are offered to merchants who choose to pay off their advance slash funding early. So when a merchant repays the advance before the agreed upon term, they may receive a discount on the total amount owed. We'll get into this a little bit more later. The purpose of this is designed to encourage early repayment. This allows the merchant to save on all the entire overall cost of the advance. The discount is typically calculated based on the remaining balance or the total repayment amount. So the reason for this is to give our clients an opportunity to save money on the advance by paying it off early. Example is this. If a merchant has an advance funding of, let's say, $100,000 and the total repayment amount is 130, so they're paying 30,000 for the money over a period of a year, and they decide to pay it off early, they might be offered a prepayment discount that reduces that total repayment amount to 115. So they're going to be saving $15,000 off the cost of the funds. Now, these are prepayment discounts, not to be confused with prepayment penalties. A lot of people say, no, do you have prepayment penalties? Let me tell you what the definition of that is. Prepayment penalties are fees or charges that are imposed on merchants who repay their advance funding early. This is often done to compensate the lender for the lost revenue that would have been generated from the interest or fees. It's really not interest, it's cost of funds over the full term of the advance. Now, the purpose, lenders may impose these penalties to discourage early prepayment. The penalty could typically be a percentage of the remaining balance, or it could be a fixed fee, like a $2,500 penalty for paying off early. An example is if a merchant has an advance funding of 100,000 with a total repayment of 130, they decide to pay it off early after 6 months. They might incur a prepayment penalty from that lender of 5% or a total amount of $2,500, which would actually add to the cost, not to deduct, lower the cost. It's going to add to the cost whenever they have a lender that gives penalties. There is no lender on the Bank Breezy platform that will ever charge a prepayment penalty for paying back advances early. Uh, Prepayment discounts are always included with every lender we have. We have again, these are incentives to pay back the amount early. Then the penalties are fees charged for early repayment. None of our lenders will ever charge prepayment penalties. The prepayment discounts that we offer range anywhere from 10% of the balance due, which includes the principal plus the cost of funds, all the way up to 100% of the remaining cost of funds. We're the only ones out there offering this through our platform where, I mean, we got some lenders that'll do 25%, some that'll do 20, some that'll do 100%. But really understanding these terms is really crucial because they can really impact the overall cost of the financing. So my final thoughts are this: here are what the typical prepayment discounts offered by our lenders are. We got a lot of A lenders that offer a flat 20 to 25% off of the remaining cost of funds, not the principal, but the remaining cost of funds. So on that 130, it would be 20 to 25% off of that 30,000 payback. Some A lenders, especially on our select funding, will give you 50 to 100% off that remaining cost of funds. Then we have B and C lenders that give us 6 to 12% off the total cost of funds. For example, they have a 25,000 payback amount of 35. It's a 142 rate. They will often provide 30, 60, 90-day prepayment discounts. On a 30-day, instead of a 1.42, they could calculate a 12-point discount on their original sale price. So their payback will change off of that, and it would change to 32.5 instead of 35.5. So they're going to save about $3,000. This is every single lender that we have. Let me stop sharing this. Every lender has their own prepayment discount program. All of our A lenders provide anywhere from 20% to all the way up to 100%. Some at 50, some at 25. 20 to 25 is common within the industry, but when we start talking about 50% or 100% prepayment discount, those are things that they're not going to be able to find on their own, most likely. So I hope you guys understand these are not bank loans. So when a client says, I will only accept monthly terms, the only monthly terms that we have at this current time is on a line of credit. And our lines of credit sometimes are more expensive than what our fundings are because they're higher risk because they're continually borrowing money and putting it back, borrowing money and putting it back, borrowing money and putting it back. So if anybody has any questions about anything to do with prepayment discounts or prepayment penalties or cost of funds, I'd love to answer them right now. Or if you have any questions about anything to do with funding, I'll be glad to answer. We don't have anything in the chat, do we?
We do not.
Does anyone here have any questions at all about any of this? I see we got one hand up.
Yep, we've got Claudine. You can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So I got my first, well, I submitted 2 deals. I've only been here for 3 weeks, but I submitted 2 deals. The first one, I guess we're still which Bank Breezy is so great at like updating you as soon as they fill out the application. So they sent me, I guess that he completed the application and I guess he needed additional things to send to them. So I guess that's what that one is waiting for. The second one, when I got that stating that he filled out the application, then I got something the next day saying that it had gone into, he completed everything he needed to do. So it gone into underwriting. And then when it went into underwriting, then the next morning I got something stating that they couldn't do the funding. The application was ineligible, but they didn't give me a reason why. So I emailed them and they said it was because of his credit score. I called him to find out, but he didn't have an update, so he didn't know anything. So I'm just wondering, like, when I get that, when does he know, the
He
client?
knows, yeah, we let him know immediately. And
Oh,
he
because he
does,
looks on the portal, he said he didn't see anything about it. And then I
there's no,
asked him.
there's no portal for him to look on.
Hmm.
He gets an email, from us that
Hmm.
says that, but if you'll send me, Wade@bankbreezy.com, if you'll send me an email with the name, I don't want you to say it uh, this Zoom, but if you will send me an email to Wade@bankbreezy.com, I'll tell you immediately where it is. Okay. But there is no portal for them to go look at. They get emails and they're the first ones that get it, that it was declined. If you got it, they got it.
Okay. So his credit in the beginning when I spoke to him, I knew that his credit was insufficient, but I thought that the revenue took precedence over the credit score. But I
It
guess in
just
his
depends.
case, that
It depends.
wasn't.
Sometimes on that credit, just so
Hmm.
you know,
Hmm.
it might be that he's got tons of judgments, tons of liens, and all that, and you can't overcome just a FICO score itself. Most of the time, it's not going to kill it. It's going to be all those underlying circumstances, like they haven't paid their car payment in 3 months, stuff like
Okay.
that, and they're so far behind. But if you send me an email with that within minutes, I'll get you an answer.
Okay. Well, they did get back to me and they told me it was credit score. So, I wasn't surprised because I knew his score was low, but I guess I just wanted to get the practice in and to see the process. I figured that he was not going to be someone that was going to be a good candidate, but I was just seeing, what
You can
options.
still send me that. Let's just get you more information.
Okay. So I should send it to you. Where should I?
Wade@bankbreezy.com.
Okay. Your last, the wade@bankbreezy.com.
Correct.
And
Okay.
I
I
sent that
will.
over in the chat to you, Claudine, as a direct message in case you didn't write it down fast enough, but I sent that right
Okay.
away.
Okay. Thanks. I also ordered a whole bunch of like postcards to give out and hopefully something will close soon.
Hey, listen, that's great. You got a couple apps in.
Yeah.
They're just going to grow and grow and grow and grow
Yeah.
the more experience that you get.
It will. I feel like I mean, when I saw the process of the client filling, just me referring him to my page and him filling it out and Bank Breezy getting back to me, I was like, is this too good to be true? I couldn't even believe that it was that simple. So I'm sure that it'll only get easier from here. So I'm definitely excited and hopefully something closes very soon.
Amen. Thank you.
All right. And Edo Devin, you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Great. Nice to talk to you all. And Wade, thank you.
Good to talk to you, Ed. I've
Yeah.
seen apps come through with your name.
Yeah, not many, but we're gonna increase that. So uh, I want to get your advice. First, I'm going to tell you a good story on what happened this morning when I went out. I talked to a guy who was a car dealer, and uh, he was also a U-Haul dealer.
If
And
the majority of their revenue, just so you know, Ed, if the majority of their revenue is if they're a used car lot, they just happen to
yeah,
do U-Haul, they're going to be declined.
they're going to be declined, even though his
They,
credit, he says credit score is
they're going to be
fine.
declined if they're a used car dealer, but they also have a U-Haul location at their because you can't combine them. Nobody's going to do used car unless it's at least 500,000 a month in revenue, at least, because they can pack up and leave very,
Oh,
very quickly. However, that being said, if the U-Haul has its own little company, then and a name and bank account, that's different.
so you loan on a U-Haul, but not if the car dealer was the bigger of the two.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. I got it turned up as high as I can, but I can't hear you.
If the car dealer was the main source of income, you would turn him down.
That's correct.
Oh, okay. Unless they're a very large dealer.
They're actually, yeah, unless they're very large, they're actually one of our restricted industries.
Okay. Even though they got like a 700 credit score?
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It could be 800. They don't care. It's not a credit issue. See, on used cars, the problem with the whole used car industry is they go out of business very, very quickly, like suddenly. And usually they're leasing the lot that they have. So, finding them to collect is tough. Not to mention on used cars, sometimes the revenue isn't true. I mean, you sell something for $20,000, you didn't make 20,000. You only made a little smaller percentage of that.
Right. That goes with anything though, as far as selling, buying and selling products, right?
Yeah, we're yeah, nobody. We don't have any lenders on our platform, and there are very few in the entire industry that would even consider used car. New car
Okay.
dealerships doing $1 million a month. Yeah, that's different.
I'm not trying to talk you into anything. I'm just trying to understand it. That's all. Okay. So, let me ask you a tactical question. I haven't really been successful yet in about a month or so, and actually getting an application and helping the client go through and submit the application. Can they do it pretty easily on their computer, right? We got to get to their computer, and can they if they're on their computer, I think it's easy, right? How about cell
Oh,
phone?
here's where the issues lie. If they're doing it from their computer, man, it's a piece of cake. If they're doing it from their cell phone, it's very difficult for them to know how to upload bank statements on their cell phone. People just aren't tech savvy enough in most cases to do that. Some do, but most of them can't get them uploaded, and that's where the problem comes in.
I kind of thought that. You're confirming what I already thought as far as how to
Yeah,
do it on cell phone. But
yeah,
PC, no problem. There's
yeah.
usually no.
There shouldn't be any problem on a PC. The only
Oh,
problem they're going to have is if they don't know how to download their bank statements off their own. I mean, they don't even know how to go into their online banking, some of them, and even locate where their bank statements are. It's crazy, but that does happen. But here's the good news. Brad and his team are really good at walking them through the process. They spent a lot. I mean, we had one yesterday and the day before. It took us 2 days to get her to be able to submit everything. And it was just, and she hand wrote the application. It was just a mess, but we got it done with them. And come to find out, she had just defaulted on another deal, so we weren't able to help her. But the point is that we spend a lot of time helping clients go through that process that don't know how to even go online and get their bank statement. We
so who's
walk them
Brad? Does
through.
he work for you? Does Brad work for you? Is that a guy who works for you, Brad? You're talking about
Yeah,
Brad.
Brad helps run. Yeah, we've got a whole team, and Brad heads up our team for submissions.
Okay, so you have an in-house person that will help somebody who's having difficulty to submit everything. Is that
Yeah,
what you're saying?
they get emails as soon as they submit a deal. Yeah, they get an email with phone numbers. They can reach different people in our organization, and if they have problems.
So in other words, you may get an incomplete application, right? It doesn't have the bank statements, but they can pick it up from there in your in-house and help the
That's
person.
correct. Yep,
Oh, that's
we help them
good.
do that.
That's good because a lot of these like restaurant owners, for example, are not very tech savvy. They may not have access to their PC in their office and stuff like that, right?
Well, most great thing about it is most of them know how to go on their PC and do what we need. I would say 90% of them know how to do that. And
Oh,
it's pretty simple. It's very
that's
quick. It's a 5 minute application and another 2 minutes to upload everything.
that's good news. Thank you, Wade.
Thank you, Ed.
All right, and just on that topic, really quick, I'm wondering if we can just clarify the restricted industries for everyone. Um, so used car lots, And correct me if these are wrong, Wade, but any type of an investment group, adult industries of any kind, and then I've also got lawyers and attorneys with under 50,
We can fund attorneys as long as they're doing 50,000 and above in revenue, and their credit scores are going to have to be up there in the high 600 or 700. Then we will fund attorneys.
Okay. And then are we adding cannabis to that list? Have we?
Yeah, right now, none of the lenders on our platform want to deal with cannabis because of the federal government's bearing on the bank accounts. And what we're finding, a lot of the bank accounts are, there are legal ways to do it, but a lot of the bank accounts are set up under another group saying this is agriculture when it's really cannabis. So right now, unless I was told just this past month that they would, if you give me somebody doing $250,000 or more in cannabis, and they'll look at it. And so if most of these people doing 50, 60, 70, we just can't.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll go to the next question. Try to move this along. I know you've got clients to get back to. iPhone,
No
you can
problem.
go ahead and unmute yourself.
I think that's me. This is Leslie. Wade, you were talking about the prepaid discounts. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. You talking about the prepaid discounts for the A lenders, and then the select funds were anywhere 20 to 100%, but of the remaining cost of funds. Then when you did the B and C lenders, it was of the cost of funds. Is that remaining cost of funds or the original
What I said
cost?
on B and C, lenders, you get a very small amount prepayment discount, but the discounts on the principal plus the cost of funds. What the column that says the amount that you're going to pay, the payback amount. So the payback amount is the principal plus. So when they're getting 8% or 6%, it sounds low, but it's really not, because when you do 8% of the uh, payback amount versus just the principal, it comes out to about close to 20% of the amount that's owed. So they just have different ways that they handle it,
Okay.
and every single one of them, we let them know what the prepayment discounts are up front.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good question. Okay, Scott M., you can go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hi, Wade. I'm Scott.
Hey,
I was curious with the funding that you're talking about and everything for the revenue that the businesses are needing to generate. This is on a monthly basis, and like the minimum sounds right about 50K that they need to be generating to really qualify for this type of funding, or
no,
they're low
and
or
and
high?
and on the videos that you're probably, well, you did receive, if you when you can, you're already a broker, right, Scott?
Yes,
Yeah, it's the minimum of 15,000 a month in revenue,
got it.
in monthly revenue. So it's not 50, it's 15,000 a month and higher. If they're doing less than 15, 3,000 to up to 15, it's going to go to Giggle. I have nothing to do with Giggle. It's an automated system. They'll never talk to anybody, and it gives them instant answers. But we're talking about the 15,000 and up. And so as long as they're averaging 15,000 over the last 3 months, we're good to go.
And your look back is only really 3 months. You don't go further back than that.
Well, let me tell you what that's what we look at initially to get the offers. But when they're doing their bank verification, they're going to look back. They look back during that bank verification for at least 6 months. And
Sure.
they're looking to see, did their revenue drop over the last 6 months? Are they real? Have they had revenue for only for 3 months, 6 months? And then that affects what they may change the offer if they feel uncomfortable about that. Plus, let me tell you what else it does. It may show them that there was a lender that was being paid 6 months ago. All of a sudden, it's not showing up, and there's no UCC filing, but it's not showing up, and it should be showing up. So they're going to do a little bit more digging just to make sure they didn't miss a default.
Gotcha. Okay. One other follow-up question would be, with the prepayment penalties and everything, that's really, let me start this way. With like the loans and everything, are these, because I'm a loan broker for real estate, are these kind of considered like a non-Dutch? So it's, say you're funded for $100,000, it's like a line of credit pulling, and they only use 50K, they pay back the 50, they're only getting the prepayment penalty. Uh, if they paid off early, for like that 2,500 or so.
Well, okay, Scott,
That makes
there
sense.
is no such thing as prepayment penalties in what we do, and we're not doing loans. We're doing advances, and I would call them advances and funding. We're advancing them based on what their revenue is. So if they're doing 50,000 a month in revenue, they're going to qualify for up to 100,000. All right, and whatever the offer is not going to be back. It's not going to be a monthly payment. It's always going to be daily or weekly. Most of the time weekly. And there are no prepayment penalties for paying off early, but we may give them prepayment discounts. Now, paying it off early doesn't mean you get to walk away from all the cost of funds. The cost of funds is part of what the payback amount. You borrow 10,000, you pay back 13. You're going to be paying back that entire 13 minus whatever prepayment discount they said you could get for paying off early. So if they said, "Hey, we're going to give you 10% of the cost of funds," so you'd get 13. If you're paying back 3,000, you get 10% of $3,000, which would be $300. That's how that works. We're not; these are not loans as like a bank. And we don't have any prepayment penalties
Got it. Okay.
ever. And that's what we explain this so they understand the difference between a prepayment discount and a prepayment penalty. And again, the cost of funds is not an interest, is a factor. And that's what we're saying. Hey, give me 10,000. I'm gonna give you 10,000, but you gotta pay me back 13. And so 13 is what you owe unless I gave you a discount.
Understood.
Okay.
Yes. Thanks, Wade.
Thanks. All right, guys. You guys have a great rest of the week. I know there's going to be a 11:30 tomorrow, and there will also be tomorrow night. You'll be able to participate at 7:30 with Nick, who's going to be one of our young guns that does a great job in presenting the actual opportunity.